Hey friends, Amy Astrab with Astra Stamping. If you're like me and you're a little bit frugal, like to upcycle, or you recycle and try to reuse things, I've got a great tip for you. My craft room. So I'm going to turn the camera down and show you what I'm up to today. So I've got this nice sized box that I got after Halloween. It's left over from the treats, and it's perfect size for putting card bases in and or envelopes. They fit perfectly. So I'm going to upcycle this today to use in my craft room. Now it came with this handy divider in it already, which you could use the box with or without the divider. I think it's a great idea to use it with. If you don't have a divider, it is simple enough to make out of some cardstock that you have laying around. So you can take a peek at the construction of it real quick. But I'm going to put it back in the box for now. And I'm going to flip this box over and I'm going to show you what I'm doing. So I'm going to be measuring the depth of this box. So this box is 3 inches. I'm going to add a 1/2 inch to that to make it 3.5 inches. And I have selected some 12 by 12 DSP, and I'm going to cut that down. I'm going to cut my 12 by 12 DSP down with my paper trimmer to 3.5 inch strips. So I'm just going to line this up in my trimmer, and we're going to just take and trim these up. Now, if your paper is directional, be sure and pay attention so that you're cutting the strips so that they will fit the proper way on the box. So I want the birds that I have on my DSP to be right side up and not sideways. So that's why I have aligned it in here like this. And I'm just going to go ahead and cut these strips. Okay, so I have my strips cut. And what I have done here, because I've got these already pre-scored, but what I did is after that, I took and scored each side at 1/4 inch. So if you just use your scoring blade on your paper trimmer, score 1/4 inch from each long end, and then we're going and do that on the side that you want to show. And then you're just going to take and you're going to make a nice crease along that fold line. Now what I've got is a 3-inch strip that's going to cover the side of my box. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my handy tear and tape, and I am just going to run a piece of tear and tape along those edges. And the tear and tape is going to be, it is 1/4 inch wide, so it's going to be just the right width to fit on that 1/4 inch area that you've scored. Okay, and I'm going to do that on both sides. Now I've already creased mine. It might be easier if you do this before you crease and fold it. But this is my first run, and I wasn't sure if I was going to put it on the paper or on the box, but I think it's going to work easier to just put this right here on the paper itself. And you'll see how easy that tear and tape was. Now I'm going to take my bone folder and I'm just going to go ahead and burnish along the tape so that it sticks really good to that DSP and doesn't try to pull away when I peel the backing off. I'm going to do that on both sides of my paper. Now I'm going to remove that divider so that we can go ahead and start adhering this paper to our box. Camera out a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and take the paper backing away from part of one side. I'm not going to peel it all the way off because I feel like it's just going to be easier to adhere if I do a little at a time. I'm going to carefully just line that up at the edge of the box. And I want that edge to go just along the inside edge of my box so that the crease is right along the top of the box. And yes, it's going to be too long. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to snip that just at the top. I'm going to fold that out of the way, and I'm going to go ahead and use my take your pick tool. I'm going to start this paper backing from this direction. Now I inadvertently tore it as I was peeling it away earlier, and that's partly why I'm doing it from this direction now. I think it's just going to be easier than trying to start it from the area where it tore. So there we go. Just going to give that a firm press. Okay. And I'm going to do the same thing now with the bottom of the box. So I'm going to go ahead and peel away this tear and tape. Since I've got the top already stuck down good, I think I'm going to go ahead and peel it off all the way to the corner of the box. And then I'm just going to tear that off. And my score line's not exact with the bottom corner of the box, so I was off just a little bit on my measuring. But that's okay. I'm just going to kind of wrap that around and press it firmly onto the bottom of the box as best I can. Now, if I have trouble with that peeling up later, I may come back and put like a separate little bottom piece on there. I'm going to go ahead and snip this corner like I did the other one, just on that bottom quarter where the tape is at. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and fold that and score it a little bit. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to run a strip of tear and tape at this corner just as a reinforcement for the paper itself. Again, I'm going to burnish that tape real quick and peel that paper backing right off of there. Okay, now I'm just going to go ahead and fold this over. All right, so now it's made that corner and it's going to stick good while I'm trying to go ahead and adhere the tape. So again, I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to go ahead and peel the backing off the tape and wrap it around this top edge first. And I'm going to repeat on the bottom edge used in my craft room. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to repeat this step until I go all the way around the whole box. Now, once you get your tear and tape on, don't forget to burnish that tape so that it sticks tight to your paper. And I am just going to start up where I left off, making sure that my DSP pattern is right side up. I'm going to overlap that first one ever so slightly. In fact, I am going to run a piece of tear and tape on there just to adhere those two edges together. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and make sure my paper is right side up. And I'm going to peel it back just a little ways, and I'm going to overlap right where that tear and tape is. And go ahead and, because I want it right at the edge, I want that top edge of paper to be able to fold over good, like so. And I'm going to go ahead and do the same with the snipping down here at the bottom. All right, now I'm going to wrap around the corner just like I did before, but first I'm going to put a piece of tear and tape on there. If you have trouble getting that started, take your pick tool, or if you've got any kind of a pick that you use in your craft room, it works great to get that started if you get stuck. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and start peeling this top bit of paper back a little bit. All right, now make sure when you come around that corner that your top is going to line up well with the top of the box, and then just give it a firm press to get it stuck down with that tape. And now I'm just going to go ahead and peel this all the way down to the corner. I'm just going to tear that off there. Fold that to the inside and stick it down good. And I will repeat at the bottom. All right. Now we've just got this one little side left, but I want to overlap a little bit so that it goes all the way around the corner nicely. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and got the top and the bottom peeled away. Bring this one around the corner. Adhere it with a quick piece of tear and tape. Adhere it here, quick piece of tear and tape so that it can come around that corner and stick down tight. All right, now we are on the last leg. I'm going to add some tear and tape here so that it can overlap just like we did before where we made our seam. I am going to add some on this corner here as it goes around. And I am going to add a piece just around this corner where it's going to wrap at. I'll just give those a quick burnish. And I am going to take my last bit of DSP. Now, I'm not going to go all the way to the end with this, simply because I don't think I'm going to need this full piece. So this one is just going to line up very nicely right there. And I'm just going to trim it up over here, about right here. Okay. Yep, that'll give it just about the right amount to wrap around. I'm going to take this off. And I'm going to take this top strip off. And I'm going to slowly just kind of work this across the top here. I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, now when I get to this corner, I'm going to have to snip that. All right, we're going to go ahead and do this bottom piece as well. Well, I think I'll take the tape off first, and then I'm going to snip it. Excuse me, not the tape. Take the backing off of the tape first. Give that a quick snip at the corner. And go ahead and wrap that across the bottom. And then I'm going to take this last piece of backing off that last strip of tape there. Go ahead and wrap that right around, burnishing real well. And then I'm just going to fold these two last pieces over. Now I'm just going to go ahead and burnish this tape along the bottom real good. I'm pulling up. Now I can add my divider back in there. I can have 4 sections now if I want. And so I can divide up my cardstock. So I've got cream colored card bases. I've got white card bases. And I've got envelopes to match both. And so there you have it. I have a beautiful box that will work in my craft room to organize my card bases and the matching envelopes. So now I've got them all handy and ready to go for my card making for the stars. I hope you'll subscribe to my channel and watch my other videos for other hints, tips, and cards to make. And in the meantime, I hope you'll keep reaching for the stars.